Joined now by Alex Newman, our international correspondent. Alex, another great story for this week, one that we see as a pattern across this country. We have some conservative kids at Nichols College in Louisiana who were persecuted for simply expressing their support for Donald Trump. They, as kids often do on college campuses, they took chalk to the sidewalks, chalk to the buildings, expressing their support for Donald Trump, and everybody from the student body to the administration tried to crush him, but this one has a happy ending.
It does, yeah. So these students did exactly what pro-communists, pro-murder of unborn babies had done just like a month before. They put their political views in chalk on sidewalks and things like that. They supported President Trump. They supported unborn babies. They supported free speech. And so naturally, as has happened repeatedly on college campuses across America, the totalitarian left went absolutely bonkers. The president of the university sent out a big email to everybody saying, oh, it's unacceptable. People were chalking without a permit. Oh, heavens no. They got this huge meeting together where all these crybabies, they made me feel bad. Oh, I feel unsafe because there's a Trump message on the floor. So they cried and whined and moaned. Fortunately, as you mentioned, there was a happy ending. The state attorney general got involved. Some congressmen, some U.S. senators got involved. And it ended up actually completely backfiring on the totalitarians. They even ended up having to rescind their totalitarian policies. So it was good news. But in the meantime, these poor conservative Republican students were just absolutely demonized, targeted, threatened. It was disgusting.
Well, you know, as well as I do, that the process is the punishment, that this victory is a good thing. It's good that the Republicans hung in there. But this is the incidents like this make it harder and harder and harder for kids to stand up what they believe on college campuses if what they believe challenges the orthodoxy. Let's not forget that. And so let's just go back to the story a little tighter. So do you ordinarily need a permit from the university to chalk up campus?
Yes, you normally need a permit, and the college Republicans did not apply for one. So they said, all right, you know what, we messed up. We didn't get a permit to put chalk on the floor. Sorry about that. You can punish us. So they were willing and ready to accept responsibility. But they did point out the double standards here, because just like a month earlier, there were pro-communist messages and pro-murder of unborn baby messages chalked all over the campus, and nobody complained at all.
Were there permissions for those, do you know?
No. Those were also
unpermitted. That's the key. That's what I wanted to get at. So a couple of weeks before this, you have all kinds of permitless protests and chalk all over campus. No one said a word about that. What was the university's response to the double standard there? When they pointed out, okay, we don't have a permit, but neither did the people who went before. Why are you coming after us when no one said anything about them? What was the university's response?
Basically, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. We don't know anything about anything. Conservatives bad. We must destroy you.
Did they formally try to punish the campus conservatives for chalking the campus?
They did, yeah. They were actually preparing disciplinary actions. There was a difference between what the administration was doing and what the fellow students were doing. The fellow students, I mean, I got a lot of the text messages, the social media posts, the videos of what was going on. They were being called every nasty name in the book. They were being threatened. They were being demonized. I got to the point where some of these students actually had to have police escort them to class and to their cars. So, what came from the students was even more vile. All these, overgrown babies who really belong in a daycare center complaining that their feelings were hurt. And so in retaliation, we're going to terrorize you. We're going to scare you. We're going to threaten you. The administration was working on sanctions against the organization, against the leadership of the organization. Luckily, they backed down all that. But the terrorism, the threats, the nastiness, the racist remark. The president of the college Republicans here is actually a young black man. And they were calling him every nasty name that you can think of in the book. We've got the social media post. They were calling him, words that I'm not even going to say, but absolutely disgusting. And then any who weren't black were being described as racists and white supremacists and all the rest of it. Just disgusting.
So over and above the charges that were pending against these conservative students, was there any commentary from the administration about how these kids were being attacked by the threats, the violence? You and I both know, Alex, that if somebody's using racial epithets against a minority in any other context, this is a national story. This is a story that would compel the university to completely audit itself and do mea culpas. Was there any comment about the young African-American Republican who was being attacked this way?
No, not at all. The president of the university did say, hey, the police are investigating the threats, and that's it.
Alex, after the break, I want to come back and talk more about this. This is an interesting story. Back now with Alex Newman. Alex, talking about what happened at Nicholls State, where a little college in Louisiana, where conservative kids found themselves on the wrong side of public opinion by chalking up campus in support of Donald Trump. They didn't have a permit, which they were supposed to, but just couple weeks before that, there were a number of liberal chalk incidents, chalking in the name of progressive causes, including abortion, that also didn't have a permit and nothing happened. We also talked about how the Republican kids, unlike the Democrat kids who did the chalking, not only were they censored by attempted to be censored by their university, but the other students were just vile to these kids, including the young African American who was in charge of the young Republican group. And so the university had really nothing to say about the threats, had nothing to say about the racial epithets that were hurled at a young African American in a Southern school. You would think this would be a huge story. So let me ask you this. What changed the mind of the university? You mentioned that outside groups got involved. Tell me about that. Who are these outside groups?
Yeah, it was really kind of a wonderful turn of events. The state attorney general there, I believe his name is Jeff Landry, got involved, and he warned the university president and the university administration, hey guys, these young people have free speech rights as well. He actually posted a public note on Twitter, said that they were looking into this. One of the U.S. senators from Louisiana also got involved. And so these college Republicans were incredibly grateful. I spoke to some of them. I got statements from some of them. Some of them weren't willing to go on the record. They were scared for their own physical safety. They were scared about retaliation. And who can blame them with the kind of stuff that was being said, the kind of stuff that was being written? There was talk of like your mom and, we're going to come get you. Horrible, horrible stuff. But fortunately, the adults did step into the room, and they told the university president, sorry, no, you cannot persecute students for their free speech rights. You cannot tolerate threats and this sort of abuse hurled at young people for their political views. So fortunately, higher level government officials did get involved and protect free speech. But just imagine 20 or 30 years down the road when the totalitarians in these daycare centers masquerading as universities end up serving as state attorney general and U.S. senator and things like that. Who will then step in to defend young people on university campuses or people anywhere who want to express a contrary point of view? We're heading toward absolute disaster. And realize this, Louisiana is one of the reddest of the red states. I mean, super conservative state. This isn't, Massachusetts or Connecticut or California or something. This is a very, very bad omen for where things are heading in this country.
It is. And with what's looking more and more like a potential Biden takeover of government, Democrat takeover of government, this is going to get worse. I mean, think about the reforms that Betsy Voss was able to work through. The idea that young males on campus who have been accused of sexual assault are owed due process. That's going to be overturned from day one. The climate's going to get a lot worse. And what troubles me most about this, Alex, is right on display here is that two-faced liberal monster, the Janus-like two-faced monster, where on the one hand, weep, 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 howl in pain because you hurt my feelings. Your actions, your First Amendment rights hurt my feelings so bad that I need the university and everybody else to censor you. But then those same wailing and crying children, the moment they're done whining and they've wrung all of the sympathy out of that they can get, they turn around and do exactly what you said. They start sending death threats. They start throwing racial epithets because their feelings were hurt, which never really happened. That's the one side of the monster. Their fake feelings were hurt. Now they're justified in becoming the actual bullies, fascists, and terrorists they accuse the conservative kids of being.
Yeah. And you know what's so sad, Duke? I think a lot of these brainwashed, indoctrinated young people on these campuses, they don't understand where this is leading. They don't understand that they're being used as useful idiots. They don't understand where similar things have gone in other countries. All we have to do is look at Cuba, at Vietnam, at Cambodia, at China, at the Soviet Union, at Nazi Germany. These types of things eventually lead to absolute horror. It's not just, beating down young people for expressing an opinion you don't like. These things eventually turn to bloodshed. This is very, very dangerous for our country, for Louisiana, for Nicholls State University, even for these brainwashed young people that think they're doing something good by terrorizing people who disagree with them. Eventually, they're going to come for you, you fools. This is very, very dangerous, and the adults in the room need to step up and say, enough of this idiocy, or it's going to end in absolute disaster, dude.
All those totalitarian countries you named, you say that these kids don't understand. The purpose of college universities in those totalitarian states is not understanding its ideology. And I think we have to realize our university systems now are about ideology. They are not about understanding. They're not about teaching. They're not about the search for truth or balance or fairness or justice. It's all about political power. That's how these things go. And our university systems now mirror those in totalitarian countries much more than they mirror what our universities were 50 years ago. Alex, thanks for your time today. Hey guys, most of you know that our little Dr. Duke show is being hidden and demonetized by the creepy crawlers at YouTube and Facebook. Sadly, this impacts our long-term ability to produce the kind of quality show that you've gotten used to. So we've decided to tackle the problem by launching our own new Patriot Club. Yes, for 99 tax-deductible dollars once a year, 99, you will not only keep our show going, but we'll ship you this fabulous stainless steel tumbler, etched with the American flag and the words, "Freedom never tasted so good." Visit patriotclub.us and become a Patriot member today. That's patriotclub.us to support our show and to drink from the font of freedom.